seen this segment before, this is where Angela and I both, we answer questions that we've gotten throughout the week, whether it's on Instagram, email, whatever. And we're going to cover a few of those questions today because they're some of the most common that we got asked throughout the week. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, so let's get into our first question real quick. This came off of Instagram, and this is from the Notorious King. So he said, "Hello, Gary. I'm 20 years old with a little over a year's worth of experience in stock trading, but now I want to get into private lending and real estate. I'm not sure how I should go about it, and also how did you find yourself doing what you do today?" So that's really two questions in one. So the first one, I'll let you, so the question in short is, how do you go whenever you've been doing something for about a year, which is no small feat at 20, that seems like a lot of time. How do you go from doing something that you've been doing and then realizing you don't want to do it? How do you even find what you want to do next?
Right. Well, I think that's a really common problem. And so it's a good problem to have when you're at that age. So the thing is, in my opinion, you need to try a lot of different things at a very early age because you don't really know until you actually do them what you might enjoy doing on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people say, I want to become a doctor, and they've never even been, in a doctor's office with a doctor, shadowing a doctor, or in a surgeon's suite looking at a surgery. So until you actually do it, you have no idea. So I would say the first thing you do is kind of try a lot of these out. You've got the time at that age. You can make the mistakes. It's not that big of a deal. So go ahead and do what you want to do at that age, and then kind of see what you like and what you want to spend your days doing. Because at the end of the day, you want to have a good quality of life and you want to spend your days doing something you enjoy, or you're not going to stick with it anyway.
Right, and from my perspective, I've been in that situation before. Both my partner and I were in that situation, and I was really into technical analysis, stock trading, and very specific. I did a lot of research. I probably was just working on it for about a month, and eventually, one day I was like, this isn't fun. Why am I doing this? So then I just kind of opened my mind to more things, and I found out, real estate, and I've been doing that for a little over a year now, so it just clicked with me. So to answer his second question is, how did I end up doing what I'm doing? So I was at the Citadel, and I was going through all that, and originally when I was going to go in the Army, nobody could tell me otherwise. And at the end of the year, I had no clue what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to go to the military anymore because it wasn't what I thought it was. So from there, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, highly recommend it, by Robert Kiyosaki, and it really hit me. I saw behind the veil, and I knew from right then and there, I really didn't want to work for anybody, as bummy as that may sound. I wasn't that I wanted to sit around and not work, it's just I didn't want to go to a 9-to-5 job. So anyway, went through the summer. I worked a small job. I was a busboy, and I wanted to do real estate. Learned about Grant Cardone. Started doing some research, and then fast forward a little bit. I had my first deal lined up, ready to go, and then from there, I just knew I was hooked on real estate. So now I'm developing a few projects, multi-million-dollar projects, and just real estate's what I want to do, and that's how I ended up there. So.
Well, that's a good point too, and one of the things we're going to be talking about later in our members section is, kind of picking the people to surround yourself with. So as you go through this journey of what you're trying to figure out what you want to do, make sure that you talk to a lot of people. Now, having said that, don't partner up with people right away, right? So don't jump into anything that's going to be a full-on commitment. Kind of talk to some people, see what they're doing, hear their stories, be kind of patient, because I can tell you from experience with both myself and a lot of my clients, you can get into a lot of trouble very, very, very quickly if you pick the wrong people to do business with.
Right, so in short, it's a good problem to have when you're young, and also just don't be afraid to open your mind and look at different stuff, because a lot of people I'm sure everybody's heard the stories, they're going in and doing something, they'll end up doing something completely different, but they're loving it and they're doing so much better than what they expected.
Right. Well, and the statistics now are that most people don't stay in the same job. In fact, I think they change jobs at least 10 times during their lives because there's a high degree of burnout. There's just a lot of options. You can do a lot of things and make money at it nowadays with the internet and services like what we provide here. So I think you don't have to limit yourself at all. You can really kind of chase a lot of interesting things, interesting causes, and interesting passions, and then see if you can monetize them. And that's really what we try to do here, is once you sort of figure out what you like to do, then we help you put the structure behind it to make sure that you can make a living at it.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the second question. So question 2, we got also on Instagram. So let's see here. It's from Mr. Pippin, and this is what he said. He said, I am very much interested in business. I'm a resident of Nepal and thinking about starting an e-commerce. I have an e-commerce startup, but he can't find funding. How do I go about doing this? So, would you like to lead off on that?
Okay, well, I can honestly tell you I've never been to Nepal. I know nothing about it there, but this is a very common theme that we see over and over again in all the entrepreneurs that we work with here at the HOTspot. So, how do you get started? Where do you find the capital to start a business? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can do that, but what I like to tell people is you've got to build on success, right? So you want to try to get something that will get you some cash flow right away, because then that momentum will build up, right? And some people, you can, if he's interested in the e-commerce side, a lot of people are doing sort of the arbitrage on buying something and then reselling it. So that's a quick way to kind of turn some cash. Facebook Marketplace is amazing. It's all over the world, I'm guessing. So that might be a good place to start.
Absolutely. And from what I saw, and this applies to any business, like I've never been to Nepal either. It's a small country, but so the main thing is track record. It's just like in real estate. These guys want to see, what have you done so far? What are the comparisons to this project? And it really just applies to all the aspects of business. If you're looking for funding, you probably need to have something, either you've done stuff before and it's been successful, or you've already had it running and it's already showing good numbers. Because if they just see something at ground zero and you have no track record beforehand and this is just a concept, it's going to be very hard to find funding. So that'd be my...
And what I would not do under any circumstance is invest your own money, i.e. go into debt to start an e-commerce business. I would not do that. I mean, if you have to, maybe a couple $100 for the startup costs, the domain names, things like that, but really, really avoid incurring debt thinking that if I build it, they will come. Doesn't work, and that is a disaster waiting to happen. So I would not do that.
Don't be afraid of organic growth either.
Yeah, well, and along the way, you're also going to learn skills. You're going to learn sales skills. You're going to learn budgeting skills. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are skills that will serve you no matter, if you start a business and it's small and it grows large, those same issues will follow you throughout the entire trajectory.
Let's go to question. All right, guys. So the third question and final question, I think it's probably the most interesting. It directly asked about the HOTspot. So he said, "Hello, Gary. I have a company that has been running for 3 years, and we are looking for someone to acquire us. Is that something the HOTspot does?"
So that's an interesting question, because that's sort of everybody's dream, right? You build a company and then you sell it to Google for billions of dollars, and then you have to retire and then live on your yacht and fly your jet around. So I think that's a very common theme that we see a lot. And the answer is yes, we do acquire companies here. It's very specific. And the way that works is every single investor or every single company that's looking to acquire another company is going to be very focused on what fits their portfolio. So what the trick is, if you're trying to sell your business, is you've got to match it up with the right person or the right entity that already needs your company. So one of the good places to start is your existing customer base. If you have customers who are a regular customer and are maybe 30% of your business, then I would go to them first and ask them. One thing you need to be careful of is you have to evaluate your business, because it's sort of like getting an appraisal on a house. You have to figure out what that company is worth. So there's lawyers that do that. There's professional business appraisers that do that. It can be quite pricey. So I think there's a whole strategy that you should use to sell a business or acquire a business. And there's a lot of legal aspects of it. Mergers and acquisitions is a huge area of the law. Do not go there on your own. But one of the first steps is to kind of look at who your customer might be, and then start packaging up your business to sell.
Well said. All right, guys, that wraps up this episode of Week in Review at You Ask, We Answer. If you like this content, you'd like to see more in-depth content, or even become a HOTspot member, be sure to check out our website at hotspoton59.com. If you'd like to follow Angela, tell us how to reach you on Instagram.
Yep, I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.
And all those links are in the website as well. And we hope to see you guys next time, and have a good one.